Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to We the People. Today I'm going to be continuing on with the U.S. Constitution, going over Article 1. And Article 1 is broken up into 10 sections, and we'll be going over each section one by one. First of all, I'd like to ask you to please subscribe to my channel. At this time, I'm up to 57 subscribers and shooting for 500. And I'd like to get 500 by the end of the year if I can, but I'll take what I can get at this time. So, we the people, the United States, and Article 1 of the Constitution. I'm going to read the first I'm going to read the section, and then we'll have a little bit of commentary on each one. Section 1, all legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in a Congress of the United States, which shall consist of a Senate and House of Representatives. So basically, Section 1 creates a bicameral legislature, that is, a legislature made up of two separate entities, a House of Representatives and a Senate. Thus, the theme of the Constitution is immediately suggested. This is going to be a government in which the power is both limited and shared. Okay, now we'll go down to Section 2. The House of Representatives shall be composed of members chosen every second year by the people of the several states, and the electors in each state shall have the qualifications requisite for electors, and electors of the most numerous branch of the state legislature. No person shall be a representative who shall not have attained the age of 25 years and been 7 years a citizen of the United States, and who shall not, when elected, be an inhabitant of that state in which he shall be chosen. Representatives and direct taxes shall be apportioned among the several states which may be included within this union, according to their respective numbers, which shall be determined by adding the whole number of free persons, including those bound to service for a term of years, excluding Indians not taxed, 3/5 of other persons. The actual enumeration shall be made within 3 years after the first meeting of the Congress of the United States, and within each subsequent term of 10 years, in such manner as they shall by law direct. The number of representatives shall not exceed one for every 30,000, but each state shall have at least one representative, and until such enumeration shall be made, the state of New Hampshire shall be entitled to choose 3, Massachusetts 8, Rhode Island and Providence Plantations 1, Connecticut 5, New York 6, New Jersey 4, Pennsylvania 8, Delaware 1, Maryland 6, Virginia 10, North Carolina 5, South Carolina 5, and Georgia 3. When vacancies happen in the representation from any state, the executive authority thereof shall issue writs of election to fill such vacancies. The House of Representatives shall choose their speakers and other officers, and shall have the sole power of impeachment. As you see, Section 2 is rather lengthy, and basically, Section 2 describes how members of the House of Representatives are to be chosen. To run for office, you must be a citizen, reside in that state you're representing, and be at least 25 years of age. It's easy to miss, but at the time, this was another startling feature of the Constitution. Almost anyone could be a candidate for Congress. The citizen politician is an American innovation. Section 2 also describes who could vote and how many people it takes to make up a congressional district. This shall be determined by adding to the whole number of free persons and 3/5 of all other persons. The last phrase refers, of course, to slaves. It should be noted that the word slave does not occur in the Constitution. The framers kept it out for two reasons. One, they recognized it would not play well in a document that was all about freedom. Two, they believed that slavery would fade away with time. But it did exist in the framers here and now, so it had to be dealt with. The northern abolitionists, those who were for abolishing slavery, didn't think slaves should be counted at all. Why? Because if slaves were counted, the population of the southern slave states would be increased, and consequently, the political influence of the anti-slavery North would be decreased. Of course, the southern states wanted their slaves counted as 5/5, that is, as whole persons, so that the population of the states will be greater and give the South more power in the House of Representatives. The 3/5 compromise came after much fierce debate. Neither side was fully satisfied, but the country stayed united and got a constitution. No small feat. Okay, so as you can see, the slavery came into this quite a bit in Section 2. Section 3, the Senate of the United States shall be composed of 2 senators from each state, chosen by the legislature thereof for 6 years, and each senator shall have 1 vote. Immediately after they shall be assembled in consequence of the first election, they shall be divided as equally as may be into 3 classes. The seats of the senators of the first class shall be vacated at the expiration of the second year of the second class at the expiration of the 4th year, and third class at the expiration of the 6th year, so that 1/3 may be chosen every second year, and if vacancies happen by resignation or otherwise, chosen second year, and if vacancy happens by resignation or otherwise during the recess of the legislature of any state, the executive thereof may make temporary appointments until the next meeting of the legislature, which shall then fill such vacancies. No person shall be a senator who shall not have attained to the age of 30 years of age, been 9 years a citizen of the United States, and who shall not, when elected, be an inhabitant of that state for which he shall be chosen. The Vice President of the United States shall be President of the Senate, but shall have no vote unless they be equally divided. The Senate shall choose their other officers and also a President pro tem in the absence of the Vice President, or when he shall exercise the 2/3 office of the President of the United States. The Senate shall have the sole power to try all impeachments when sitting for that purpose. They shall be on oath or affirmation. When the President of the United States is tried, the Chief Justice shall preside, and no person shall be convicted without the concurrence of 2/3 of the members present. Judgment in cases of impeachment shall not extend further than to removal from office and disqualification to hold and enjoy any office of honor, trust, or profit under the United States. But the party convicted shall nevertheless be liable and subject to indictment, trial, judgment, and punishment according to law. So, Section 3 concerns the second legislative body, the Senate, whereas members of the House of Representatives are elected by the people directly and serve 2 years. Senators are to serve 6-year terms and are chosen by each state government. Populous states would have more representatives than less populous ones, but every state would have the same number of senators. 2. This gave the states an equal share of legislative power. The minimum age requirement to be a senator was set at 30. Okay, so then Section 4, the times, places, and manner of holding elections for senators and representatives shall be prescribed in each state by legislature thereof, but the Congress may at any time by law make or alter such regulations, except as to the places of choosing senators. The Congress shall assemble at least once in every year, and such meetings shall be on the first Monday in December, unless they shall by law appoint a different day. Section 5. Each house shall be the judge of the elections, returns, and qualifications of its own members, and a majority of each shall constitute a quorum to do business. But a smaller number may adjourn from day to day, and may be authorized to compel the attendance of absent members in such manner and under such penalties as each house may provide. Each house may determine the rules of its proceedings, punish its members for disorderly behavior, and, with the concurrence of 2/3, expel a member. Each house shall keep a journal of its proceedings, and from time to time publish the same, excepting such parts as may, in their judgment, require secrecy. And the yeas and nays of the members of each house on any question shall, at the desire of 1/5 of those present, be entered on the journal. Neither house, during the session of Congress, shall, without the consent of the other, adjourn for more than 3 days, nor to any other place than that in which the two houses shall be sitting. Section 6 is the senators and representatives shall receive a compensation for their services, to be ascertained by law and paid out of the Treasury of the United States. They shall, in all cases, except treason, felony, and breach of the peace, be privileged from arrest during their attendance at the sessions of their respective houses, and in going to and returning from the same, and for any speech or debate in either house, they shall not be questioned in any other place. No senator or representative shall, during the time for which he was elected, be appointed to any civil office under the authority of the United States, which shall have been created, or the emoluments whereof shall have been increased during such time, and no person holding any office under the United States shall be a member of either house during his continuance in office. So sections 4, 5, and 6 establish the basic operating rules when Congress shall meet, and what constitutes a quorum, and what to do with disorderly members, and so on. And I think this practice needs to be done a little bit more now than it was in the past. We got a lot of senators and congressmen that get out of line. They are committing crimes, lawbreakers, and they should be punished accordingly. And as it says in here, they can be removed from office. They could be expelled. So senators and congressmen, y'all need to remember that when you're up there. And remember that you're not up there for yourselves. You're up there representing the people of the United States. Okay. Section 7. All bills for raising revenue shall originate in the House of Representatives, but the Senate may propose or concur with amendments as on other bills. Every bill which shall have passed the House of Representatives and the Senate shall, before it becomes law, be presented to the President of the United States. If he approve, he shall sign it, but if not, he shall return it, with the objections to that House in which it shall have originated, who shall enter the objections at large on their journal, and proceed to reconsider it. If after such reconsideration 2/3 of the House shall agree to pass the bill, it shall be sent, together objections to the other House, by which it shall likewise be reconsidered, and if approved by 2/3 of that House, it shall become a law. But in such cases, the votes of both houses shall be determined by yeas and nays, and the names of the persons voting for and against the bill shall be entered on the journal of each house respectively. If any bill shall not be returned by the President within 10 days, Sundays excepted, after it shall have been presented to him, the same shall be a law. In like manner, as if he had signed it, unless the Congress by their adjournment prevents its return, in which case it shall not be a law. Every order, resolution, or vote to which the concurrence of the Senate and House of Representatives may be necessary, except on a question of adjournment, shall be presented to the President of the United States, and before the same shall take effect, shall be approved by him, or being disapproved by him, shall be repassed by 2/3 of the Senate and House of Representatives, according to the rules and limitations prescribed in the case of a bill. So Section 7, basically, it sets out the process for enacting legislation. A bill must receive the consent of both the House and the Senate to become a law. The President is also involved in this process. He can veto legislation. His veto, however, can be overridden by 2/3 vote by both houses of Congress. Passing laws, which by definition are restrictions on freedom, is not meant to be easy. It's meant, unless there is overwhelming support, to be hard. So now we're going to go on into Section 8. Okay, Section 8. The Congress shall have power to lay and collect taxes, duties, imposts, and excises, to pay the debt and provide for the common defense and general welfare of the United States. But all duties, imposts, and excises shall be uniform throughout the United States. To borrow money on the credit of the United States, to regulate commerce with foreign nations and among the several states and with the Indian tribes, to establish a uniform rule of naturalization and uniform laws on the subject of bankruptcies throughout the United States, to coin money, regulate the value thereof and of foreign coin, and fix the standard of weight and measures, to provide for the punishment of counterfeiting the securities and current coin of the United States, to establish post offices and post roads, to promote the progress of science and useful arts by securing for limited times to authors and inventors the exclusive right to their respective writings and discoveries, to constitute tribunals inferior to the Supreme Court, to define and punish piracies and felonies committed on the high seas and offenses against the law of nations, to declare war, grant letters of marque or reprisal, and make rules concerning capture on land and water, to raise and support armies, but not appropriations of money to that use shall be for a longer term than 2 years, to provide and maintain a navy, to make rules for the government and regulations of the land and naval forces, to provide for calling forth the militia to execute the laws of the Union, suppress insurrections, and repel invasions, to provide for organizing armies and disciplining the militia, and for governing such part of them as may be employed in the services of the United States, reserving to the states respectively the appointment of the officers and the authority of training the militia according to the discipline prescribed by Congress, to exercise exclusive legislation in all cases whatsoever over such districts, not exceeding 10 miles square, as may, by secession of particular states and the acceptance of Congress, become the seat of the government of the United States, and to exercise like authority over all places and all places purchased by the consent of the legislature of the state in which the same shall be for the erection of forts, magazines, arsenals, dockyards, and other needful buildings, and to make all laws which shall be necessary and proper for carrying into execution the foregoing powers and all other powers vested by the Constitution of the United States or in any department or officer thereof. So as you can see, that's quite lengthy. And Section 8 lists the legislature's many responsibilities, such as establishing and equipping the armed forces, coining money, and regulating interstate commerce. Perhaps the most important of these responsibilities is articulated in the Taxing and Spending Clause, which allows Congress to collect taxes and to spend for the national defense and general welfare. Now we're going to go on and do Sections 9 and 10. Section 9, the migration or importation of such persons as any of the states now existing shall think proper to admit, shall not be prohibited by the Congress prior to the year 1808, but a tax or duty may be imposed on such importation not exceeding $10 for each person. The privilege of the writ of habeas corpus shall not be suspended unless when in cases of rebellion or invasion the public safety may require it. No bill of attainder or ex post facto law shall be passed. No capitation or other direct tax shall be laid unless in proportion to the census or enumerations herein before directed to be taken. No tax or duty shall be laid on articles exported from any state. No preferences shall be given by any regulation of commerce or revenue to the ports of one state over those of another, nor shall vessels bound to or from one state be obliged to enter, clear, or pay duties in another. No money shall be drawn from the treasury, but in consequences of appropriation made by law, and a regular statement and account of receipts and expenditures of all public money shall be published from time to time. No title of nobility shall be granted by the United States, and no person holding any office of profit or trust under them shall, without the consent of the Congress, except for any present emolument, office, or title of any kind whatever from any king, prince, or foreign state. Section 10. No state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation, grant letters of marque or reprisal, coin money, remit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debts, pass any bill of attainder, ex post facto law, or law impairing the obligation of contracts, or grant any title of nobility. No state shall, without the consent of Congress, lay any imposts or duties on imports or exports, except what may be absolutely necessary for executing its inspection laws, and the net produce of all debt duties and imposts laid by any state on imports or exports shall be for the use of the Treasury of the United States, and all such laws shall be subject to the revision and control of the Congress. No state shall, without consent of Congress, lay any impost or duties on imports or exports, except what may be absolutely necessary for executing its inspection laws, and the net produce of all duties and imposts laid by any state on import or export shall be for the use of the Treasury of the United States, and all such laws shall be subject to revision and control of the Congress. No state shall, without the consent of Congress, lay any duty of tonnage, keep troops or ships of war in time of peace, enter into any agreement or compact with any other state or with a foreign power, or engage in war, unless actually invaded or in such imminent danger as will not admit of the delay. Sections 9 and 10, almost as a counterweight to Section 8, conclude with a list of government restrictions. No one can be convicted of a crime without a trial. Laws can't be made retroactive. And habeas corpus, the right to see a judge if you're arrested by the police, can't be suspended except in cases of invasion or rebellion, or when the public safety requires it. The framers understood the need for a strong central authority. They also knew well that such authority, without clear checks and balances, could and probably would become despotic. So that's okay. A government of limited powers could not easily threaten or our foundational rights of speech, assembly, worship, and defense. It was a grand experiment, and like any experiment, nobody knew it would work, but it did. My information comes from John Yo, professor of law at the University of California, Berkeley at Prager University. So that is Article 1, Sections 1 through 10 in a nutshell. And any comments, if you have any comments or any questions, be sure and put them in the comments below. I will get back with you as soon as possible to answer your comments or to answer any questions. If I don't know the answer to the question, I will research it and find an answer for you. So, as stated earlier, I'd like for you to please subscribe to my channel, We the People, and hit that like button. And also go back and review some of my past videos. I have several past videos out there, starting with the Revolutionary War, working my way up to this point.